Sit up. Put the phone face down. Not in your pocket. Face down where you can't feel it buzz. This one's for you. And I need all of you here for it. Here's a fact you can't argue with, no matter how clever you are. Your mind is the only room you will never leave. Think about that. Really let it land. You can change your city, pack a bag, book a flight, start over somewhere new where nobody knows your name. You can change your job, your face, your friends, your relationship status, your entire identity on paper. But when the plane lands, when the dust settles, you wake up inside the same head every single morning for the rest of your life, the same voice narrating, the same fears whispering, the same patterns running on a loop. So let me ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly, because nobody's listening but you. What kind of shape is that room in? Because here's what I've noticed. Most people are living inside a mental space they'd be ashamed to invite anyone into. It's cluttered. It's loud. It's doom-scrolling at 1 a.m. when they swore they'd sleep. It's rehearsing arguments that never happened with people who aren't even in the room. It's chasing dopamine like a dog chasing headlights on a highway. Running, 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 and never once catching anything. And you know what the wildest part is? They call that normal. I don't call it normal. I call it untrained. And there's a massive difference between a mind that's broken and a mind that's simply never been trained. One needs healing. The other just needs a coach. Today, I'm your coach. Let's go to work. Take this very seriously and write down or memorize the 7 laws, and your life would never remain the same. Law 1. Discipline is not punishment. It's self-respect. Somewhere along the way, somebody sold you a lie, and you bought it, because everybody around you bought it too. They told you discipline is the whip, the grind, the joyless, gritted teeth march through a life you hate. They made it sound like a prison sentence you give yourself. Wrong. Completely, dangerously wrong. Discipline is not what you do to yourself. Discipline is what you do for the person you're becoming. It's a gift you mail to your future. It's the promise you keep to a version of yourself you haven't even met yet, but who is absolutely counting on you. Let me show you the truth of it by flipping the picture. Look at the undisciplined mind for a second. We assume it's free, right? Free to do whatever it wants, whenever it wants. But watch it closely. It can't sit still. It can't sit with silence for 30 seconds without reaching for a screen. It gets hijacked by every notification, every craving, every passing mood that rolls through like weather. A little rain of self-doubt, and suddenly the whole day is canceled. Is that free? That's not freedom. That's being a passenger in your own life, strapped into the back seat while your impulses drive. I think of it like a garden. You've got a plot of land. That's your mind. If you respect that land, you tend it. You pull the weeds. You plant on purpose. And it feeds you. Neglect it. I'll just let it be free. Let it do its thing. And it doesn't become a beautiful wild meadow. It becomes an overgrown mess of thorns and weeds that chokes out anything you actually wanted to grow. Discipline is the fence. Discipline is the tending. And far from trapping you, discipline is the thing that finally hands you the keys. You want to be free? Get disciplined. There is no other door. Law 2. You don't control the thought. You control the next second. Now, a lot of you are going to hear, discipline your mind, and think it means having a perfectly clean, quiet, positive mind at all times. Let me stop you right there, because you will fail, and then you'll quit, and then you'll blame yourself for something that was never possible. You do not control which thoughts arrive. They come uninvited. Fear shows up. Doubt shows up. Comparison. Jealousy. That ugly little voice that says, "Who do you think you are?" They all have a key to your door, and they let themselves in whenever they please. There's an old saying I love. You can't stop the bird from landing on your head, but you can stop it from building a nest in your hair. That's the whole thing right there. Here's the mechanism nobody teaches you. Between what happens to you and what you do about it, there is a gap. It's tiny. A second. Sometimes less. The trigger comes in, and there's this tiny window, this pause, before the reaction fires out. Untrained people don't even know the gap exists. For them, life is stimulus, reaction, stimulus, reaction, all day long, like a puppet yanked around by strings. Someone cuts them off in traffic, rage. Phone buzzes, grab it. Feel a little sad, open the fridge. No pause, no choice, just strings. The psychiatrist Viktor Frankl survived the Nazi concentration camps, a place where every external freedom was stripped away. And he came out of that horror with one of the most powerful ideas a human has ever put to paper. He said, in effect, between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. Sit with that. He lost everything. His home, his family, his career, his very name, replaced with a number. But that space between stimulus and response, nobody could take it. It was the one freedom they couldn't confiscate. You have that same space, right now. And discipline is nothing more than widening that gap. That's the entire game. Learning to stand inside that half second, the buzz of the phone, the flash of anger, the itch to quit, and choose instead of react. And you widen the gap the exact same way you widen anything in the body or the mind. Reps. One paused reaction at a time. Law 3. Feelings follow action, not the other way around. All right, here's where I have to break some bad news, and I want you to hear it as the kindest thing anyone's told you all year. You are waiting to feel motivated. You're waiting for the spark, the surge, the morning where you wake up and finally feel ready to change your life. Let me save you 20 years of your one and only life. It's not coming. Or rather, it comes, but it's completely unreliable, so you cannot build anything on it. Motivation is a guest. It shows up late, it leaves early, and it never helps you clean up. Some days it graces you with a visit. Most days it ghosts you. Discipline, on the other hand, is a resident. Discipline lives there. Discipline pays rent. And here's the secret: the strong ones know that they never put on the posters. They don't feel like it either. The Navy SEAL grinding through Hell Week doesn't feel like it. The author on their 4th hour at the desk doesn't feel inspired. They feel like their brain is oatmeal. The mother getting up for the 3rd time at 3 a.m. doesn't feel motivated. They just stopped letting the feeling get a vote in the matter. Because here's the mechanic almost everyone gets backward. We think it goes. Feel motivated to take action. But for anyone who's ever built anything real, it actually goes. Take action. Then the feeling shows up, out of breath, apologizing for being late. You lace up the shoes when you'd rather die. You get out the door, and then, a quarter mile in, you actually want to run. You write the ugly, embarrassing first sentence, and then the ideas start flowing. You open your mouth to start the hard conversation, and then, mid-sentence, the courage finally arrives. Ever notice how hard it is to start washing the dishes? But once your hands are wet, you find yourself wiping down the whole counter too. That's the law in miniature. The starting is the mountain. The feeling was always waiting on the other side. Move first. Your emotions will catch up. They always do. Law 4. Your mind is a negotiator. Learn its tricks. Now I need you to understand something about your own mind, because right now, it's beating you, and you don't even know how. Your mind is not evil. Let's get that straight. It's not out to destroy you. It's just lazy. Beautifully, anciently lazy. Wired over millions of years to conserve energy and avoid discomfort. And on top of lazy, it is incredibly persuasive. It's a world-class negotiator. And the scary part? It knows you better than any salesman ever could, because it is you. It knows exactly which button to push. But here's the good news. For all its cleverness, it only really has about 5 lines. 5. And it just runs them on repeat. Just this once? What's one time? You've earned this. You worked hard. Treat yourself. Do it tomorrow. You'll have way more energy in the morning. You're exhausted. Be kind to yourself. Rest is important, right? You'll start fresh Monday. Clean slate. New week, new you. Sound familiar? Of course it does. You've heard them 1,000 times. And the trap is that half of these are true things being used against you at the wrong moment. Rest is important, but not as a bribe to skip the one workout you scheduled all week. So here's the technique, and it's almost stupidly simple. Name them. Out loud, if you have to. When that voice says, "You'll start Monday," you say, "Oh, there it is. That's the Monday one." When it says, "Just this once," you say, "Ah, the just this once line. Classic." Something almost magical happens the instant you name the tactic. It loses its power. Because a con only works while you're the mark. The moment you see the con, the moment you recognize the script, you're no longer the sucker at the table. You're the one who spotted the hustle. Say this and tattoo it on the inside of your skull. You are not obligated to obey every thought that shows up wearing your voice. A thought is a suggestion, not a command. You get to say no. Law 5. Build self-trust the way you'd build credit. Now let me tell you why discipline collapses for most people. And it's not what you think. It's not weakness. It's not laziness. It's that they've broken so many promises to themselves that they no longer believe their own word. Think about it. You said you'd wake up at 6. You hit snooze till 8. You said you'd stop at 1 episode. You watched 4. You said no more sugar, no more scrolling, no more skipping. And you did it all anyway. And here's the damage nobody talks about. Every one of those tiny broken promises is a withdrawal from an account. The account of self-trust. And 1,000 small betrayals later, when you stand in front of the mirror and say, "Okay, this time I'm serious," some deep, tired part of you just smirks. Because it's heard that before. It has receipts, and it's stopped believing you. That's the real crisis. You've become a person whose own word means nothing to you. Think about how credit works. You don't get a loan for a house by promising you're trustworthy. You build a history of small payments, made on time, over and over, until the number climbs and the bank believes you're good for it. Self-trust works exactly the same way. And here's the counterintuitive move. To rebuild it, you go small. Embarrassingly small. Don't promise yourself an hour at the gym. You'll break it, and you'll take another withdrawal. Promise yourself 10 minutes. Or 5. And then, this is the whole point. Keep it. Not because 10 minutes transforms your body. It won't. But that was never the point. The point is that you made a promise to yourself and you kept it. Deposit. In the account. And the balance ticks up by 1. Small promise. Kept. Deposit. Small promise. Kept. Deposit. Do that enough times, and something incredible happens. You start to believe yourself again. And when you finally say, "I'm going to do this hard thing," this time that deep part of you doesn't smirk. It nods, because now you've got the credit history to back it up. That restored self-trust, That is the raw material of every single hard thing you will ever accomplish. Guard it like gold. Law 6. Train your tolerance for discomfort. Here's something that will change how you see everything if you let it. Discomfort is a skill, and you can get good at it. We treat discomfort like a fire alarm, something that means stop, danger, retreat. But most of the discomfort standing between you and the life you want isn't danger at all. It's just unfamiliarity. It's just your comfort zone being stretched. And a muscle only grows by being stretched past what's comfortable. So you train it. On purpose. Like an athlete. Take the cold shower. Don't flinch away. Stand in it. Breathe. Sit through the boredom without reaching for your phone. Just be bored and survive it. Do the extra set when your muscles are screaming. Have the awkward conversation you've been dodging for 3 weeks. Sit with hunger, with silence, with uncertainty, with the itch to escape. And don't die. Because every single time you do that, you're teaching your nervous system one lesson. One sentence, burned in a little deeper, each rep. This is unpleasant, and I am completely fine. That sentence, this is unpleasant, and I am fine, is the great dividing line of humanity. On one side are the people who build lives, businesses, bodies, marriages, masterpieces. On the other side are the people who flinch away from every one of those things the second it stops feeling good. And here's why it matters so much. Everything you want is on the other side of some discomfort. The fitness is on the other side of soreness. The business is on the other side of rejection and uncertainty. The mastery is on the other side of 1,000 boring, frustrating repetitions. The great relationship is on the other side of hard, vulnerable conversations. There is no version where you get the reward without first paying in discomfort. None. That price is non-negotiable. So you might as well get strong at paying it. The comfortable mind stays small. And not because it's weak, not because it's broken, but simply because it was never once asked to be strong. Nobody grows the muscle they never lift. So start lifting. Law 7. Never miss twice. Now listen carefully, because this last one is the difference between people who transform and people who just try to transform every January. You will fail. I'm not being negative. I'm being honest, and I'm doing it on purpose, because I need to inoculate you against the thing that kills most people's discipline. You will sleep in. You'll break the streak you were so proud of. You'll eat the whole thing, skip the session, scroll for 2 hours when you meant to scroll for 10 minutes. It's going to happen. Tomorrow, maybe. Next week, for sure. Fine. Welcome to being a human being, because here's the truth. The disciplined mind is not the one that never falls. That person doesn't exist. I've never met them, and neither have you. The disciplined mind is the one with the shorter recovery time. Let me put it in numbers so it sticks. Missing once is an accident. It's a pothole. It means nothing. But missing twice? Missing twice is the beginning of a new pattern. Twice becomes 3 times. 3 becomes a week. A week becomes, well, I guess I'm just not the kind of person who does this. And that's how one skipped Tuesday becomes an abandoned dream by spring. One missed workout never wrecked anyone. What wrecks people is the spiral that the missed workout gives them permission to start. So here is the single most useful rule in this entire talk. Write it down. Put it on your wall. Never miss twice. Fall down at noon. Get back up by evening. Blow the diet at lunch. The very next meal is clean. Not next Monday. Not after the weekend. The next meal. You don't wait for a fresh week to redeem a bad hour, because Monday is a fantasy. Monday is an imaginary land where a better, stronger, more rested version of you finally has it all figured out and handles everything effortlessly. I have to tell you, that guy isn't coming. He was never real. There is no perfect future you waiting in the wings to take over. There's only you, right now, as you are, half tired, imperfect, a little behind, carrying whatever you're carrying. You're it. You're the one. And that's not a disappointment. That's the most empowering thing I can tell you, because it means you don't have to wait for anyone. You can begin the recovery right now, from wherever you fell. Here is the general conclusion. Let me leave you with this, and then I want you to go do something, because a talk you don't act on is just entertainment. Remember this line above all others. You don't rise to the level of your feelings. You fall to the level of your training. When the pressure hits, and it will, life comes for everybody eventually. You will not magically become disciplined in the moment. You will default to whatever you practiced, whatever you drilled in the quiet, unwatched hours. That's why the training matters so much. And here's the beautiful, terrifying truth. You are training something every single day, whether you mean to or not. Every time you reach for the phone instead of sitting with the boredom, that's a rep. You're training surrender. Every time you finish the set, you wanted to quit. That's a rep. You're training resolve. Every time you catch the spiraling thought and gently set it down. That's a rep. You're training mastery. There's no neutral. You're always coaching yourself towards something. The only question is what? And here's what makes it real, what makes it yours. Nobody's watching. Nobody's clapping. There's no medal for the workout you did alone. No trophy for the craving you resisted in your own kitchen at midnight. It happens in the dark, unseen. That's exactly why it counts. Character is what you do when the cameras are off. So understand what you're really building here. You are not building a body. You are not building a career. You are not building a bank account. You are building the only room you will never leave. So build it strong. Build it quiet. Build it so well made that one day, when life finally comes for you, when the storm hits and it takes everything it can grab, you walk into that room, you sit down in the center of it, and you find that everything you built holds. The walls don't shake. The roof doesn't cave. You are safe in the one place you can never escape because you made it a fortress. That's what this is for. That's what it was always for. Start today. Start small. Start ugly. Start scared. But start. Now go.